One of the things that I really wanted to do this year was going to be different projects and different ways to get myself out of debt, whether it be student loans, auto loan, whatever the credit cards, whatever the case may be. Put myself in a better position for 2019. 2 episodes ago, I talked about taking on the 2018 challenge, and I'm still trying to do that. It's a very slow process. It's a little bit more difficult, more of a grind than I anticipated, a lot more time put into it, which is good, kind of an eye-opener for me. It's going to be a transition for sure. One of the things that I tackled was going to be this guy right here, which is going to be one of my personal prints, which is for sale. It's a 20 by 30. This is a black and white photo, but go to my Instagram, which the link is in the description, if you want to get the color version of it. So feel free to comment on the picture that you would like printed if it is something different. But if it is the color version of this one, just let me know and I'll be sure to get it printed for you. And then yeah, just message me, comment down below, and I'll be sure to reach out to you and make sure that you get it. I also went ahead and created one of these bad boys. So this is an industrial lamp that I built myself. I personally wired it. I built the entire frame of it, the stem of it, everything. Did the entire lamp itself, and I completed it with an Edison bulb. Really want to tackle different projects and different things just to find out what it is that I like about whether it be building things, whether it be printing, and actually taking photography to the next level, or taking my photography to the next level, or if it's video, and if it's doing it with maybe wedding stuff, which is kind of cliche but still very effective way to make money. I want to turn this channel into sort of a videography, photography type of channel. Tech stuff as well. Any equipment that I use, you can definitely find in the description as well, so be sure to use those Amazon links. Alright, so to start, I got the Amazon Basic DSLR camera bag. I love this bag. Very inexpensive and very efficient. So on the side here, you'll see that it has the tripod straps, which are going to be these right here. And I have a Bosch tripod, which I believe I got from Amazon as well. If not, I'll link one very similar. The only thing with this one that I don't like is that it's fairly loose on this part. I might have to tighten this. I'm not too sure. I haven't figured this part out. Every other knob is tightened, so it's not the swivel, it's not this way, it's only up and down. But I mean, it's a full 4 foot, I believe, or 5 foot tripod, so it's a good size, definitely a good size for portraits and things like that, keeping things steady. I honestly though hardly use it. I use my GorillaPod a lot more, but I'll get into that a little bit here in a bit. So moving on to how I personally use my bag, is this first one right here is going to be all of my USBs, and you can see that I have a Mexican lollipop because no camera bag is complete without a Mexican lollipop. After that, I have a Guess glasses case. It's what my actual glasses came in, but I use it for different things. I still hold my microfiber cloth in here. I have my SD card, and then I have my adapter for my iPhone or iPad, whatever you choose to use. That goes in here, and then I have some extra straps as well, which are going to be like my Canon one and then my wrist one that I use. Also, side note, this actually came from a hat that I once had, and when my dog was a little bit smaller, he chewed up that hat, and I was able to salvage this patch, which is, of course, Tim Duncan, arguably the best power forward to ever play the game. So, huge Spurs fan. If you like the Spurs, give a thumbs up or just subscribe. That's a trick. I just want you to subscribe. Let's get into the main part of the bag. Alright. So what we have here are a bunch of different slots that I typically keep everything that I'm using right here. I have a couple UV filters and things like that. The cap that I use for my 10-18. 10-18 is my main vlogging lens. I absolutely love this lens. I will link a bundle in the description below, which is going to be the 10-18 with a 50mm lens. This is an absolutely great bundle. I highly recommend that bundle. But yeah, so let's get into it a little bit. This one right here, 18-55. It's usually a kit lens, so it's usually what comes with a lot of cameras nowadays. Whether it be, honestly, I think Nikon does it too, but with my Canon Rebel T6i, which usually is housed right here, That's what came with it. This is actually a great introductory lens. I haven't done too much work with this one, but I do love the lens. It is a great lens to use for sure. Next, I have the 50mm lens, also known as the Nifty 50. I'll probably do a video of this by itself because it's such a great lens. It's actually the one that I did my print with of the guitar that I am currently trying to learn to play. So a great lens to use if you like, you know, that milky, blurred out background. This is definitely going to be one to have. What you want to look for is going to be, let's see if it focuses a little bit, is going to be that 1.8 that you see right there at the top right. That 1.8 is telling you that it has the lowest aperture of 1.8, which means it's going to take in a lot of light, which it's going to be good in night settings, but then it's also going to focus a lot on your subject whenever you have it at that 1.8. So you'll get a lot of that blurry background. A very great, inexpensive lens to get if you're looking to do portrait photography, shoot weddings, baby photography, anything like that. Very, very, very great lens to use. Alright, and next we have the 24mm. If you're a fan of any sort of urban photography or anything like that, this is a great pancake lens to use also. It goes to, let me see, I'm pretty sure it's a 2.8 if I'm not mistaken, which means it's still pretty good in low light settings, but this one I mainly use for urban photography, not so much the milky background. You will get some good milky background with this one, but not as great as the 50mm. Now also keep in mind with the Rebel T6i, you're going to be using a crop sensor. Any of the Rebel series are going to be crop sensor. I believe the 70, 60, 70, 80D that's out now are going to be crop sensors as well. So it's not a full frame camera. And what that means is if you're shooting with, say, a 10mm, this is at its absolute widest. So what this means is that this is not a legit 10mm. This is actually multiplied by 1.6. So you're looking at a 16mm lens instead of a 10. But when you get a full frame camera, it's going to be a little bit wider. You're going to get a little bit more in your shot, but still, this is a great introductory camera to use for sure. For my mic, what I use is going to be the Video Rode Mic Me. I believe that's what it's called. I believe it ran like maybe $50. A really, really great microphone to use. For my actual lens I use, like I said, the 10-18 is by far my favorite lens. It does pretty crappy in low light settings, but if you're shooting anything other than that, you're going to be great. If you're doing daily vlogs and stuff like that, a 10-18 is what I highly recommend. If I'm not mistaken, Casey Neistat is a huge fan of this one and uses this as his prime lens, or his primary lens. It also has a side pouch right here, or a back pouch. My dog chewed up my thing, but I rigged it with some black duct tape. It works. And then I have the 13-inch MacBook Pro. Now this bad boy is essential. It has done me wonders. It was very much worth the investment. I had an old MacBook Pro that I used all the time, but it was just getting really worn down. I ended up cracking the screen by accident. It would have cost just as much to fix it as it would to put, you know, a pretty heavy down payment on a new one. So I just went ahead and invested in a new MacBook Pro. Very much worth it. I love this. It has a touch bar, everything like that. So there you go. That's everything that I personally use in terms of equipment. I use a Canon Rebel T6i. Not a very expensive one, but very, very capable of doing everything that you needed to do for introductory photography, introductory videography, and things like that. Prime lenses, I use a 24mm and a 50mm. Zoom lenses, I use a 10-18mm and an 18-55 kit lens, which came with it. For tripods, I use a Bosch, I think that's what it's called, Bosch, tripod. Very, very inexpensive, but, you know, quite efficient. And then I use a Joby Gorilla DSLR pod, which I'll link below. There are a few different kinds. Then I also use the Video Mic Me, which is going to be the mic that I'm actually using right here. So this is it with the Mic Me. This is it with the onboard audio. So definitely, you know, I'm sure you can hear, you know, somewhat of a difference. I'll go ahead and plug that back in. Now you can hear it with the Video Mic Me. So audio has a lot to do with it. Your frame has a lot to do with it. Your exposure. I really wanted to use YouTube as a means of a second income. So I feel like it's a platform that could definitely provide that type of income as long as I stay consistent and as long as I have people who are interested in what I have to say. A lot of it is predicated on whether or not I have great content to put out there, helpful content to put out there. And some of it is a lot to do with how consistent you are on YouTube. That's another thing that I'll work on. But yeah, I mean, a lot of the stuff that I talked about today, this is stuff that I use, every single day. And it's stuff that, I absolutely love talking about. So if it helps y'all, awesome. If it's negative feedback, I'd love to hear that too, just because I want this channel to grow and I want it to become something where it's helpful to somebody else and they pass it along to their friends and they help each other make money and things like that. And if it's something that we can, I really feel that we can grow as a community, whether it be the YouTube community or as, photography, videography type of community here in South San Antonio. That's big for me too, just because I don't know a lot of people that are interested in things like this. So it's good to, keep creating and keep creating content that people are going to consume. And yeah, let me know in the comments what y'all want to see next time. Something should be posted here within the next week. No more than a week. Another one will be posted either about the 50mm or the T6i. So let me know in the comments what y'all want to hear about. And yeah, subscribe, comment, thumbs up, do what you got to do. See you next time.